Do you use a VPN? ATMs are being hacked again, and the CIA's Marble framework was used to hide their hacks. All that coming up now on ThreatWire. Greetings! I'm Shannon Morse, and this is ThreatWire for April 4th, 2017, your summary of the threats to our security, privacy, and internet freedom. First off, a special thanks to our patrons for supporting the show each and every month. If you want access to extras, make sure you hit up patreon.com/ThreatWire for more information. By now, you have probably heard that both the Senate and the House of Representatives in the United States voted to abolish FCC privacy rules that were going to go into effect earlier this month. I reported on this till I basically couldn't speak anymore, and by earlier this month I mean March. And if you are still curious, check out our previous episodes all about this topic. Today I would like to discuss VPNs and obfuscation. Much of the online media industry is touting to secure yourself with a VPN, but they don't necessarily go into the depth of how they work or why, and all of a sudden they're backtracking on their recommendations and saying it might not be worth it. If you would like to learn more about how and why to use a VPN, check out my episodes over on Hack5, where we have built our own servers for secure browsing. So, should you use a VPN? I have continually told folks, yes, absolutely. VPNs are a great way to secure your traffic while you are traveling, while you're on a public network, and as a surefire way to keep your ISP from knowing what you're doing on the net. So why are folks now saying, maybe you shouldn't? Well, the first problem that we run into is speed issues. Since you are passing all of your packets through a tunnel to a different server, sometimes overseas, that can cause slowdowns. This is normal and pretty obvious, and it is a known issue, but not necessarily a major issue if you are just browsing the web. It can be an issue, though, if you are gaming or doing video replay. Second is trust. With any VPN, you are putting some trust into that company to securely tunnel your data from your device to their exit. Do they log browsing data? Do they log timestamps or your IP? Do they take Bitcoin instead of credit cards so they don't actually know who you are and it's anonymous? If you are just now interested in VPNs because of the recent news, make sure you read up on the terms of service and do some research, but even so, you've still got to put some inherent trust in them to not lie to you. Check out that one privacy site's VPN comparison chart, which I have been praising for a long time now, for the great rundown on hundreds of VPNs. The other discussion point is obfuscation. Some brilliant minds on the internet set upon a goal of creating a web crawler that'll create a fake trash data on your network, so an ISP would have to go through tons and tons of bad search data in order to find your true clicks and your true searches. While this is funny on the surface, it may also create some issues. First, many users are on set data allowances each month, and if they go over, they will be charged for it. So you need to make sure that if you are using obfuscation as an add-on, that it cuts off when you are about to hit your data limit. Second, trackers are very smart, and they may be able to determine what information is real and what is fake. And lastly, your real personal searches and website visits, they are still there. They're just harder to find if surrounded by a whole bunch of muck. I don't use these kinds of noise generators because I do use a VPN, so I don't feel like I necessarily need it, but I still find it kind of funny to troll your ISPs. Now, I won't go into all of our recommendations here for browsing privately, as we have discussed them tons of times over on Hack5, as well as my other show called Tech Thing, but know that this is not a new debate. It's just resurfaced again with this new and very recent vote. ATM skimmers! They are still prevalent today in many parts of the world. I have not found one myself, even though I always pull on ATMs every single time I use them, but new research from Kaspersky has been shared explaining how hackers can use a power drill, a little bit of code, and some cheap computer parts to override the machine's cash dispenser and make it withdraw thousands of dollars at a time at ATMs located in Russia and other parts of Europe. Using a power drill to create a golf ball-sized hole right next to the pin pad, a thief could gain access to a serial port and plug in this homemade device into the port to access the internal computer interface of the machine. None of it was encrypted very well, so practically any part of the ATM could send any other part commands without it throwing up any kind of red flags. Eventually the ATM would reboot, but not before spewing out tons of money to the attacker. Then they could just do the attack again and again and just wait for it to reboot. The ATMs will need to get physical hardware upgrades upgrades as they aren't upgradable remotely, and Kaspersky recommends upgrades such as surveillance cameras or better authentication on the ATMs themselves. On March 31st, WikiLeaks published new documents in the Vault 7 database titled Marble, with 676 source code files included for the Marble framework. According to these documents, the CIA used Marble to obfuscate their code and make it harder for investigators to attribute hacks built by the CIA to the CIA. By hiding fragments of text that could lead digital forensics experts to the CIA, they lead investigators in the wrong direction. With this, Marble could also change the language to Chinese, Russian, Korean, Arabic, and Farsi, and then attempt to obfuscate those too. So if an investigator cracked the hidden code, they would be led to believe it was written by someone that was not a native English speaker. This is the first real code that WikiLeaks has exposed in the Vault 7 documents that shows exactly how CIA processes work, and it was reportedly being used as late as 2016, but that was reportedly. It has not been fully revealed. Now, while no past allegations about state-sponsored hacks have been updated, we could expect to see some reattributions to the CIA in the coming months. Before I go, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who has supported the show so far over on Patreon. If you find value from this and you can spare a few cents an episode, please consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/threatwire. And you may even get your adorable fur babies featured on a future episode. Plus, you will get access to behind-the-scenes videos. I also do an audio-only RSS feed just for patrons. I do photos, I do early access, and extra content. I hope you will continue to help the show keep on being completely independent and completely ad-free. And of course, if you cannot donate, you can also share the show, you can subscribe down on YouTube. All of that goes a long way too. And you can find everything else over at threatwire.net. And with that, I'm Shannon Morse, and I will see you on the internet.